أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليًا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم ربنا آتنا حسنة في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم سبحانه.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء، تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم، كما قال عز شأنه كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت، وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه ماس العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خير يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شر يرى. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه، يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينة النجاة واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة مثقى قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وسلام عليه يوم ولد ويوم يموت ويوم يبعث حيا صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the piety and the taqwa of Allah as is the best of provisions. As we are still going through the Ayyam-e-Azha, we are into the month of Safar. And of course, this month is associated with the tragedies that unfolded on Ahl Bayt in Sham when they were made captives and they were brought into the darbar of Yazid ibn Muawiyah and the atrocities that were committed by Yazid toward Imam Hussain and as well as his family members. The verse that I recited is a verse which is from Surah Maryam, ayat number 15, which says, "And peace be upon him the day he was born, the day he dies, and the day he is raised alive." Now, of course, the ayat refers to Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, but fits well for Imam Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam as well. That Imam was someone, the day he was born, he was a means of mercy. The day he died, he was a means of mercy. And the day when he will be raised up again, yub'athu, in the day of resurrection, he will again serve as the shafi', the intercessor, so he will serve again as a mercy. So the birth and the death and being raised back again on the day of resurrection, all three aspects of Imam Hussein's life are what? Are mercy to mankind. If Imam complained of thirst on Ashura and demanded water, it wasn't to quench his thirst. You always hear this, that when Imam went toward the enemy ranks, when he was left all alone, he said, "Give me water." Of course, they denied Imam. They did not want to give him water. And when that question was asked, it would only make you wonder that why would Hussain ﷺ, after having gone through a day like the day of Ashura, would demand water? I mean, it's unheard of. Reason being, Hazrat Abbas left this world in the sounds of Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Ali Akbar asked for a sip of water, was not given. Even the 6-month-old Ali Asghar, Imam demanded the enemies, "I don't need water for myself. Just provide this 6-month-old with one sip." And of course, when none of them were provided for, why would Imam ﷺ quench his thirst? Does that make sense? No. This is where this ayat comes in. That Imam is serving as mercy to mankind. He's giving this opportunity to the enemies that if you fulfill my commands, still there's a possibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. In kunta la budda min qatli fasqini shurbatan min al-ma. If you have made up your mind to go ahead and kill me, go ahead and provide me with water. Imam, why are you asking for water for yourself? Again, the concept of wasalamun alayhi yawma wulida wa yawma yamutu wa yawma yub'athu hayya. That's at the time of the death of Imam. Shahadat of Imam, he's serving as mercy to mankind. The day he's raised back up again on the day of resurrection, what do you recite in Ziyarat Ashura? Allahumma arzuqni shafa'at al-Hussain yawm al-wurud. Right? When we will be entering upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are we asking for? The shafa'at and the intercession of Sayyid al-Shuhada. So on resurrection, he's also serving as what? Peace and mercy. And of course, you all know the story of Fitrus. When Imam was born, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala freed Fitrus as well. Why did Imam bring his family to Karbala? This is one of the questions that has been asked over and over. And some been able to understand the meaning behind it. The gist of it is, well, Imam needed someone to propagate the message. We could have used someone else other than his young kids and the female family members. Could he have not? This is the ishkal. One of the pertinent questions which is commonly raised is that when Imam Hussain knew about his martyrdom and the captivity of Ahlul Bayt, then why did he bring them to Karbala? So there are a few answers that have been given. I'll try and see if I can get to all of these answers. Number one, it was a custom of Arabs to bring their wives and children even when they went to war, let alone other travels. So it was a custom. Arabs, whenever they traveled with the entire family. It was norm. Ishkal over here is, we provide a rebuttal to it, that this cannot be the reason why Imam brought his family, because Arabs used to do it. That Imam is following the customs of the Arabs. Another question could be raised here. Why would Arabs bring their families to war? Did Imam follow the customs of Arabs and common folks when he knew that he bid farewell to his family under God's providence, Mashiatullah? So this could not be the reason that Imam is following the customs of Arabs. Although it was customary for Arabs to leave their family or bring their family along with them. Number two, Imam brought his family in order to awaken the people, as his rise has two segments, Hadith-e-Ishq, do babas, Karbala wa Dimashq, Yeki Hussain Rakmkar, Digari Zainab. One established by the martyrdom, his martyrdom in Karbala, while the second after his shahadat. Yazid had hoped that by killing Imam Hussain and introducing himself as the caliph and introducing Imam Hussain as the rebel, he will be able to legitimize his government, strengthen his rule. But the inspiring sermons from fourth Imam, Bibi Zainab, Kulthum, exposed Yazid's corrupt intentions, helped bring his reign to an end. There's a ishkal to this as well, which is that while this is a very logical answer, but it still raises the point that for aftermath of Ashura, it seems Imam needed only a few women to go ahead and propagate. So he could have just brought what? Zainab, Kulthum. That's it. He didn't need to bring Farwa, Layla, or other women from the family. If he needed someone to give khutbah, Zainab and Kulthum would have been enough. Why bring all the women from the family? So this ishkal is also warid, where Imam could have just brought only a few women. No children played role in it. So why even bother bringing the young kids as young as 4 or 5 years old? Number 3, Imam brought his family to expose the ugly face of Banu Umayyah, that they will not refrain from their evil agenda even if they have to kill and harass kids belonging to the household of the Prophet. In this way, Yazid will be proven unqualified for Khilafat. So by bringing the children, your tendency is that Imam is trying to seek empathy from the enemy, that at least with the children present, they will sympathize, they will show some mercy, and if they don't, it will work against them. Some mention the reason Imam brought his family was to encourage others to join him. So when someone says, Imam sent letters to other people, right? Come and join us. And then they would be like, why should we join you? Imam would say, well, look, I'm bringing my own family, right? Isn't that a bigger proof that I'm bringing my own young kids? Now all I'm asking you to send your men to come and support me in this uprising. So by bringing his kids and his family, Imam was encouraging others. When others would look at, wow, mashallah, he's bringing his family, then we need to go ahead and stand up along with him. It will also melt the hearts of the enemies, and they may show mercy. There's a shkal to this as well. This answer is also not entirely correct. Imam could have erected an army by inviting people, sending representatives to the different places. Secondly, he didn't want to put people in coercion, force them to join. Rather, if they want to help, they should do it voluntarily by choice. Because if that was the case, all of those people who did not join Imam Hussain would be in trouble. But only a few were. Why? Because Imam sent direct invitation to them. Ubaidullah ibn Hurra Juhfi. Imam went up to him, said, come and join us. He said, take my weapons, take my animal, take my shield, keep me out of it. I want to play neutral between the two sides. This may be the best answer. The reason Imam brought his family is because he wanted to keep them close to himself. So the fifth answer, after one, that it was the customs of the Arab. Number two, to awaken the people after the Karbala. Number three, that Imam wanted to show the ugly face of Banu Umayyah. Number four, so Imam could gain sympathies from others. Number five, Imam brought his family is because he wanted to keep him close to himself. Because them being away from Imam poses a threat. What threat is that? Banu Umayyah could have easily attacked Medina, taken the family members captives, and forced Imam to change his path. Right? Right now, Imam is still on his way from Makkah to Medina, or from Makkah to Karbala. At this moment, if Medina is attacked, the family could be captured easily. They would be made captives before even Karbala happens. The course of history would have been different. Imam would maybe change the course of action, seeing the family has already been taken. This is a tactic that is used these days, unfortunately. That if you are standing up against something, right away they attack your family. They'll go ahead and kidnap someone in your family, and then they'll force you into giving up. So Imam, by bringing his family, he wanted to keep them close. If they were left in Medina, they would have been thrown into prison much before Karbala had happened. Much before. And Karbala would have never happened. Imam on the night of Ashur, asked his companions to leave, but didn't give the similar option to his family. Imam did not say to his family, you can leave. No, he only said this to his companions, you can leave. Family, Imam still wanted to keep with him. So therefore we understand this is probably the best of the 5 answers that are given as far as why Imam ﷺ brought his family along with him. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now with this sacrifice that Imam has given, for which you and I are capable of commemorating those events, and we're able to follow the true religion. And by providing his sacred blood, Imam was able to revive the teachings of Islam. What is the reward that Allah gives him? Although Imam is not looking for any sort of reward. Surah Dahr talks about it, that La nuridu minkum jaza'an wa la shakura. This act of goodness that we have done, we do not ask for any compensation or any thanks from you. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ إِلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. Tell them, I don't need any ajr, any compensation whatsoever. So this was never the deal of Ahlul Bayt to do something in return of something. This is you and I were given incentives. That when you do something, there's something in return that you will get. So it gives us incentive to go ahead and perform that thing. But Ahlul Bayt, they're above and beyond that. They don't do things so they can get something in return. But how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Imam Hussain with this? Eating sand is haram, except the turbat from the grave of Sayyid al-Shuhada for cure as Haqq shifa. That is the essence and that is the ability that Allah has placed in that turbat of Sayyid al-Shuhada, which is mixed with the blood of Sayyid al-Shuhada. That's why it's good to answer this question as well. Why do we prostrate on this turba? This is called turba, right? Sajdaga. or this turba, why do we put our heads on it? First of all, the fiqhi masala says, you can only prostrate on those which are neither edible nor that you can wear. So, with that said, the most pure thing upon which you can put your head on is earth. Right? Earth is the most pure thing upon which you can put your head on. Now, of course, with the masajid these days, beautiful carpeting and all that stuff, you don't want to bring dirt inside and dirty the carpets. So instead, you have this clay, you have this turba, which is not shedding any dirt from it, so you can use it, and at the same time, do the best of the mustahabbat, to place your forehead on that which is the ground. Now, you have a choice. What ground should it be? Should it be the ground and the dirt from Somerset, New Jersey, or should it be the ground and the from Karbala, Mu'alla? You have the choice. You can take the dirt and the Haqq from Franklin Township, or you can take the Haqq from Karbala and Najaf and Makkah and Medina and go ahead and prostrate on that. You have the option. So if you use the dirt of Karbala, of course, it embodies that sacrifice in it as well. And therefore, people argue about Haqq-e-Shifa, Haqq associated with Imam, has such powers. What is the source? If you study Quran, you'll find. So, well, how could Haqq, the sand, what's the basis that this sand has the ability to be able to provide that sort of power? Now, I don't know if this is true, and I'll mention it anyway. That your smartphone, everybody uses smartphones these days. If you know that smartphones have the touch screen, right? The touch screen senses your skin, which is alive, and it's able to then scroll through it. If you were to use something which is dead and try to scroll with it, it will not work. For example, if I was to use this to scroll over my screen, it won't work. If I was to use a wood, try to scroll with my screen, it won't work, because it doesn't sense the liveliness of this thing. But when you scroll with your hand or any part of your body, it scrolls. Why? It is able to feel the warmth of the blood in your body, and you're able to scroll. Guess what? This sajdaga, this Haqq-e-Shifa, if you scroll with this as well, the screen will scroll. That is another. Now, I'm not saying that this is a proof of anything of that sort, but give this a try. Try and scroll your screen with this Haqq-e-Shifa, or try and scroll your screen with a patthar sitting outside, worthless. And you will see the difference as well, how it works or if it does not work. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But this is for laymen. To go ahead and give this sort of proof is for the layman, that Haqq has some sort of power. Now for the ulama and the scholars and people like you, how does Haqq have such ability? Chapter Surah Taha, verse number 96. قَالَ بَصُرْتُ بِمَا لَمْ يَبْصُرُوا فَقَبَضْتُ قَبْضَةً مِّنْ أَثَرِ الرَّسُولِ فَنَبَذْتُهَا وَكَذَلِكَ سَوَّلَتْ لِي نَفْسِي. Samiri said this. He said, I saw what they did not see. I took a handful of dust from the messenger's trail and threw upon the calf. The calf started talking. Gosala Parasti, that Samiri was able to bring the people of Hazrat Musa, Bani Israel, back to worshipping the calf. What did he do? Did he do some sort of magic? He said, I saw what they didn't see. As the Prophet passed by the trail beneath which there was sand, I picked up that sand and I dropped it onto the calf. The calf started speaking. The people thought I had produced something which is miraculous. They started worshipping the calf once again. This is chapter Surah Taha, ayat number 96. So you see the power of Haqq according to the ayat of Quran as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So number one, eating sand is haram, except Haqq-e-Shifa for the cure. Number two, dua is always answered inside the haram of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Number 3, it became mustahab to do the ziyarat of Imam Hussain and hold the thawab of equal to many other wajibat. In the book of jurisprudence, under the section of ahkam of drinking water, it is mustahab to remember the thirst of Imam while you are drinking water. Salat is shortened for a traveler, is qasr. But when you have a choice, it is in the choice that has been given to you in the haram of Imam Hussain. The other three places is Makkah, Medina, and Masjid-e-Kufa. And last but not least, we find that our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq ﷺ said, he said, "Kulluhum sufunun najat wa safinatul Hussain asra. Kulluhum babullah wa babul Hussain awsa." All of them, all of the Ma'asumeen are the ark of salvation, but the ark of Hussain is faster than all the other arks. All of them are the doors to Allah, but the door of Hussain is wider and broader than all the other doors that exist. So here we understand how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates what Imam Hussain ﷺ was able to do for mankind. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Towards the end, I wanted to share, as this qafila, this caravan had finally made it to Sham. This was the final destination as far as their endeavor in the entire story of Karbala, which began from Karbala itself, then moved to Kufa, then to Sham. And in Sham, when Janab Zainab is facing Yazid, there was this conversation that took place where it was asked that, why are you doing this? The response was given, "Nuqatiluka bughdan minna li abik, wa ma fa'alana bi ashiyakhina yawm badrin wa hunain." We are fighting you in opposition to what your father did to our forefathers, meaning Amirul Mu'mineen did to our forefathers, meaning bi ashyakhina, on the day of Badr, on the day of Hunain. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَ كَلَامُهُمْ بَكَى. When Imam Zainul Abidin heard their kalam, he wept and he cried. وَجَعَلَ يَحْمِلُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَجَعَلُوا يَنْهَزِمُونَ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ كَأَنَّهُمُ الْجُرَادُ الْمُنْتَشَرُ ثُمَّ رَجَلَ إِلَى مَرْكَزِهِ وَيَقُولُ لَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ الْعَلِيِّ الْعَظِيمِ. Imam ﷺ wept and cried, "Is this the reason that you are fighting us? Is this the reason that you have made us captives? Because our forefathers killed your forefathers?" They were fighting against Muslimin. Your forefathers were not Muslim at that time. They were standing up against Rasulullah on the battle of Badr. They were standing up against Rasulullah on the battle of Hunain and Uhud. That is the reason you are fighting. And then of course Yazid said, the reason is that now today I can take fakhr and pride in what I have been able to achieve. Janab Zainab then stood in the court of Yazid and she said this, "Fakid kaidaka," do as plan as you wish. "Was'a sa'yaka," try as you may try. "Wanasib juhdaka," go ahead and put all your hard work into it. فَوَاللَّهِ لَا تَمْهُ ذِكْرَنَا وَلَا تُمِيتُ وَحْيَنَا. By God, you will not be able to remove our remembrance from the hearts of the people, and you will not be able to kill the wahi that was sent upon our family. This was the response. Salli ala. And this was the final blow by Janab Zainab Salamullah alayha. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq and ability to derive all of these lessons from Karbala, from the examples of the speeches given by Zainab, Kulthum, Zainul Abidin alayhim afdalus salatu wassalam, to go ahead and implement into our lives. Let's not make this year's Muharram and Safar to be a formality that we come in, attend the majalis, and then we go home and we wait for these majalis once again next year. No, let's make sure this year's Muharram and Safar brings reform into us, that we're better human beings, we're better husbands, we're better wives, we're better brothers, we're better parents when it comes to, we're better neighbors. And all of these teachings could be derived from the kalam and the teachings of Ahlul Bayt in Karbala, how they presented themselves. Inna asl hadith wa ablagh al-mawidha kitabullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وفان السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معص العباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو لطوف وللعباد بجوده والأفضاد المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين صلى الله عليه وآله على قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه الصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم أبنية الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آبائه الكرام ما اتصلت الليالي والأيام اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمراء المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أحل ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أحله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين مما يذكرون أنت وذكرنا إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون